You won't believe what just happened in the swampy heat of Tampa, Florida. It started, as these things often do, with a smug smile and a microphone. Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, speaking at the America First Women's Summit, took the stage with the confidence of someone used to applause and used to saying things no one dares to challenge. But this time, she made a mistake. A big one. She smirked, paused, and dropped the line like it was just another joke. I'm sorry, but when I look at Congress these days, especially folks like Jasmine Crockett, I see more TikTok dances than real policy. Maybe if she spent less time chasing retweets and more time reading the Constitution, we'd be getting somewhere. The room erupted in polite Republican laughter, golf claps, chuckles, the kind that echo more in echo chambers than in real America. But outside that ballroom, oh, baby. The clip hit Twitter in under 5 minutes, Instagram Reels by 10. And Jasmine Crockett? She saw it before her coffee even hit the desk. And that's when the storm began. Because here's what you need to know about Jasmine Crockett. She doesn't clap back. She burns down the whole damn stage. Within hours, her team dropped a statement so sharp it could have cut steel. Pam Bondi wants to talk about TikTok. Maybe we should talk about her Netflix-level performance defending Trump during his first impeachment. I'd rather post a video of me doing the electric slide than lie to the American people on national TV. That wasn't just a response. That was a warning shot. And it landed. Bondi, likely thinking this would pass like most partisan jabs, didn't respond. But Crockett? She wasn't done. Not by a long shot. The next morning she went live on MSNBC, calm, collected, but with fire in her eyes. What we're not gonna do, she said, is pretend that women like me got here by luck or likes. I got here by fighting for people the system left behind. Meanwhile, Pam Bondi was out here selling fairy tales to protect—
Read it, Pam. I'll wait.
This wasn't just a clapback. This was the opening volley in what looked like a new political war, and the public was here for it. By now, what had started as a snide remark at a low-stakes conservative gala had exploded into a full-on political inferno. But Crockett? She was just getting warmed up. The morning after her MSNBC appearance, Crockett showed up on Capitol Hill like a woman with a mission, not just to defend her name, but to dismantle Pam Bondi's reputation brick by brick, and live on national television if need be. First stop, the press corps outside the Capitol. With cameras rolling, mics thrust forward, and the sun beaming down, she stood in a crisp red blazer, power suit, power stance, and that unmistakable Crockett energy. I wasn't going to say anything else, she began, voice steady, measured, and dangerous. But since Pam wants to talk about qualifications, let's talk. I earned my seat, not from handshakes behind closed doors, not from defending the indefensible, but from marching in courtrooms, fighting for the voiceless, and showing up where the cameras weren't. Boom. That was the setup. Then she pulled out the hammer. Pam Bondi wants to talk about TikTok? Cool. Let's talk about her TikTok-adjacent deal with a lobbying firm 2 weeks after defending Trump. Let's talk about those $25,000 consulting fees from shadowy PACs in Florida. Let's talk about her real talents, cashing checks and playing cleanup for corruption. Mic drop. But she didn't drop it, she kept going. She rolled out emails, dates, names, times, receipts, as the internet likes to say. And the internet was eating it up. Clips of her speech hit TikTok faster than Bondi could Google damage control. One creator stitched Crockett's line about cleaning up corruption with a video of someone power washing a filthy sidewalk. The metaphor was brutal and perfect. Within hours, a hashtag started trending. Hashtag Bondi bleached, mocking how Crockett bleached out Bondi's spotless media image with hard truths. On Twitter, Gen Z dubbed her Crockett the Cleaner. Millennials called her the Congresswoman with claws. Even boomers were chiming in on Facebook with posts like, "That girl from Texas just made Pam look like an unpaid intern." Meanwhile, Bondi's team released a weak 3-line press statement. Ms. Bondi's remarks were taken out of context. She respects all members of Congress and remains focused on the future of this country. Translation. Please stop dragging us. But Crockett wasn't done. That night, she appeared on the readout with Joy Reid, and this time she came with fire and receipts and jokes. Let me tell you something, Joy. If I had $1 for every time a Republican tried to undermine a black woman doing her job, I could afford Pam Bondi's legal team, but unfortunately, I earn my dollars the honest way. The crowd laughed. Reid laughed. Twitter screamed. But then Crockett got serious. It's not about me. It's about a pattern. A pattern of people like Pam thinking they can punch down and walk away clean. Well, guess what? I'm not the one. I don't get quiet. I get louder. And louder she got. She announced, right there, on live TV, that she was introducing a resolution in the House to investigate the post-government lobbying practices of former public officials. Subtle? No. Strategic? Absolutely. And Pam, if you think this isn't about you, think again. Mic still not dropped. Because Crockett never drops it. She passes it back to the people. That night, her Instagram exploded. Stories from young women of color, former public defenders, activists, even conservative-leaning independents saying, I don't agree with her politics, but damn, she's fearless. Meanwhile, Bondi? Silent. Again. Because when Jasmine Crockett enters the ring, you don't get a debate. You get a demolition. And the foundation beneath Pam Bondi's image? It was already starting to crack. The next 48 hours were the political equivalent of a Texas tornado, and Jasmine Crockett was the one steering the storm. While most politicians would have basked in viral fame and let the moment simmer, Crockett did the opposite. She doubled down. On a surprise Instagram Live late at night, no makeup, hoodie on, phone in hand, she started talking. Not scripted, not rehearsed, just real. And that's when it hit different. Let me be clear, she said, staring straight into the lens. This ain't just about me and Pam. This is about how they talk about women like me. Loud, angry, too passionate, too direct. They want to label us every way except qualified. She paused, tilted her head, then added, and don't get it twisted, they love when black women fight for democracy, as long as we're quiet about it. The comment section lit up. Hearts flew. People screen recorded it, reposted it. Even journalists took quotes straight from the live. But Crockett wasn't just here for social media buzz. She was here for the kill shot. The next morning, she dropped a thread from hell on X, formerly Twitter. It was titled, What They Don't Want You to Know About Pam Bondi. What followed was a nuclear-grade exposé. Bondi's 2013 decision to drop a fraud case against Trump University, just days after receiving a $25,000 donation from a Trump-affiliated PAC. Her sudden post office transition to a consulting role with America First Policies, an organization directly connected to Trump's inner circle. Photos, emails, timelines. This wasn't just a Twitter rant. This was a digital prosecution. But Crockett saved the punchline for last. Pam Bondi calls me an influencer. I call her what she is, a product, manufactured by GOP elites, sold to the public as integrity. But when you peel off the label, just another bottle of swamp water. Boom. Political TikTok erupted. Young progressives began stitching Crockett's thread into content titled, Who Really Is Pam Bondi? And White Feminism versus Real Representation. Even some libertarian creators reluctantly admitted, Crockett's got her facts straight, this ain't fluff. Meanwhile, Bondi's defenders scrambled. Fox News ran a 3-minute soft segment defending her decade of public service. A Florida think tank issued a limp editorial titled, Jasmine Crockett's Mean Girl Politics. And one Florida congressman even said on Newsmax, This Crockett lady needs to learn her place. Wrong move. Jasmine took that quote, printed it on a t-shirt, and wore it the next day on the House floor under a white blazer. The shirt read, I know my place, and it's right here. The message was clear. She wasn't going anywhere. During a fiery floor speech that followed, Crockett turned up the volume. We've seen this pattern. From Kamala to Corey to Maxine, any woman who doesn't play nice gets painted as a threat. But I didn't come to play nice. I came to fight for my district, for truth, and for every little girl who's ever been told she's too much. She paused, raised her voice. I am not too much. Y'all are just too weak. And the chamber fell silent. Online, the clip racked up 5.2 million views in under 6 hours. #TooMuch started trending on every platform. People turned it into anthem-like slogans. Too smart, too loud, too powerful. Meanwhile, Bondi had all but disappeared. No new interviews, no Twitter posts, no rebuttals. Because Crockett wasn't just beating her in debate, she was erasing her from relevance. And still Jasmine wasn't finished. Not even close. As the political dust began to settle, one thing was clear. Jasmine Crockett hadn't just roasted Pam Bondi. She'd cracked the code. No longer was this just a feud between two women on opposite sides of the aisle. No, this was now a national moment, the kind campaigns are built around, the kind that shifts polls. Within 24 hours of her viral speech on the House floor, Crockett had been booked on 5 major networks: CNN, MSNBC, The View. Even a begrudging Fox News commentator called her a media wildfire the GOP wasn't ready for. The headlines read like campaign posters. Jasmine Crockett, the future of the Democratic Party. From Congresswoman to culture warrior, Pam who? Crockett dominates the political spotlight. But Jasmine? She didn't blink. Sitting across from Anderson Cooper, in a sleek navy blue suit, she leaned in and dropped the line that would echo for weeks. This was never about Pam. It was about the system that protects people like her and punishes people like me for speaking truth. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't grandstanding. She was doing something rarer, telling the unfiltered truth. And America was listening. Meanwhile, conservative think tanks panicked. One anonymous GOP strategist told Politico, "We thought she was just another firebrand. Turns out, she's a communicator. And worse, she's credible." Bondi, still missing in action. Her last tweet, now almost a week old, had become a digital tombstone. No statement, no clarification, no apology. But Crockett? She was just getting warmed up. At a community town hall in Dallas, a young woman stood up and asked, "How do you stay so fearless?" Crockett smiled, walked to the edge of the stage, and said, "They don't fear me because I'm fearless. They fear me because I'm free." Thunderous applause, cameras flashing, local news outlets cut into programming to show it live. That quote? Within hours it was printed on mugs, posters, and TikTok backgrounds. #fearless and free started trending across platforms. But here's the twist. It wasn't just the public watching. Behind closed doors, the DNC began whispering her name. She had what they couldn't buy: raw authenticity, national attention, and the rarest of political qualities, timing. As one Democratic consultant put it, she didn't plan this moment, she became this moment. Suddenly, Crockett's team started receiving invites from high-level fundraisers, not small donors, kingmakers. People who hadn't donated since Obama's first run were now texting, "What's she doing in 2026? Can she lead a coalition? Is she VP material?" Even prominent names like AOC and Ayanna Pressley began reposting her quotes, signaling a silent coronation of sorts. And on the GOP side, silence. Bondi's defenders had moved on. Some even scrubbed their previous tweets in her support. The few that remained kept their talking points vague, afraid of drawing Crockett's spotlight again. The message was loud and clear. Crockett wasn't just winning, she was rewriting the script. And the scariest part for the right? She was doing it without asking for permission. It was a crisp Thursday morning in Washington, D.C., the kind of morning where something felt like it was about to shift. And shift it did. The House Oversight Committee had reconvened under the guise of reevaluating ethical standards in public commentary. Translation? A GOP-led attempt to regain control of the narrative. The hearing wasn't supposed to be about Crockett, but the room knew why they were really there. If my words caused offense, that was not the intent. It landed like a wet napkin in a wildfire. Then it was Jasmine's turn. She took a slow breath, adjusted her mic, and leaned in, her voice steady yet surgical. Intent does not erase impact, she began. And what we witnessed wasn't just a petty jab. It was a mirror into how some in power view women who look like me, speak like me, and serve like me. The room went still. They call it performative when we speak passionately. They call it unprofessional when we raise our voices. But when white counterparts shout, lie, or storm here,